Okay, so have we found the elusive unicorn? Uh, I apologise for the title, but yeah, just trying to grab a little bit of attention. But look, this is starting to look really promising now. Have we found the elusive unicorn? Probably not. But look, we yesterday was a really good day. Um, the best day so far, I would say. Or certainly we'll have a look at it in a second anyway. But quite a lot of winners yesterday. Certain tracks like Doncaster sort of kept up their good strike rate. We had one really big disparity between SP and Betfair SP. You can see it here. It went off at 8-1. This Lynx batsman, again in a sprint. So the sprints are really sort of booster in the profits here. Um, it's where we've got most of our big prize winners, I think. Is from the sprint races. So I guess they're a little bit more volatile, a little bit less predictable. So yeah, there's more chance of these outsiders coming in, which is what we're seeing. So yeah, it went off at 20-1 on Betfair SP. So yeah, big price disparity there again, highlighting the benefit of the exchanges over the bookmakers. Albeit that market would have been fairly thin, I would have thought, in terms of liquidity. So how much you'd have been able to get on at 20-1 is debatable, but look, we're just going off raw figures here at the minute. So yeah, really good performance from Kinsley again. We had a couple of 5 stars go in there, didn't we? As well. So yeah, that was good to see. Overall, though, yeah, really positive yesterday. And you can sort of see from here where we were yesterday. So yeah, our biggest day so far, biggest jump has been from the 21st to the 20. No, sorry, from the 22nd to the 23rd, isn't it? Um, where we sort of jumped good 30 odd points. It's been a pretty slow ramp up since then. Then we jumped another 20, 21 points there. Then we went down by the 8 or 9 points. Then it was pretty much a break even day, the day before yesterday. And then yesterday it's just sort of increased the P&L by 50% overall. So fantastic to see that. Look, the reason why I say have we sort of unearthed a unicorn here is we're starting now at 1,200 bets. We are starting to creep into a decent sample set. Um, for the and we've got to take into account that if we look at what it's breaking down into, etc., that there's arguments to say, well, the sample sets aren't massive when you're looking at per track and per grade and per distance, and that's correct. But given we haven't got any sort of filters on here or any filtered strategies or anything like that. This is just a carte blanche 1 point win on everything that the predictor sees as top rated, right? So given that fact alone, we've just had 1,200 carte blanche bets really. And we are taking into account as well, we've got some heavy bleeders here, with Star Pello, Valley, and Harlow, etc. Okay, there's some real heavy bleeders. Probably not a big enough sample size to really determine at the minute. It could just be variance, but um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to monitor. So this is arguably the most exciting thing I've seen do, and I've been doing this sort of thing for quite a long time now, testing out various systems, and this is kind of the process you have to go through. With horses, it's a painstaking process. I remember that the system I started this channel off with, for example, um, I was doing that for I was testing that for over 2 years. The best part of 3 years really, and there was times where I ramped it up a little bit and times where it eased off, for example. But still, 3 years, we're going to get potentially, you know, 2 or 3 times the sample size that I had for that database in the space of a couple of months with the dog racing. So just so much more volume, right? Um, and yeah, I haven't seen something perform like this consistently as well. This is we've had a couple of little downturns, but consistently since we've started recording this, um, we haven't had any huge, negative variance, especially at Betfair SP. You can obviously see at Industry SP that it's a heavy loser. Anybody betting with the bookies, you turn around and go, sod this. You just blew a bank and probably, on your way to blowing a second one. But at Betfair SP, this is really really promising. Now again, we wouldn't be able to sustain, a shitload of people. Pardon my French, but we wouldn't be able to sustain that. These markets can't sustain it. There's some of these markets are only matching a few grand, 6, 7 grand, but if that. Some of them are a bit more, where there's short price favourites, etc. But overall, these markets are fairly thin in compared to horse racing. So, like I said before, how much you'd be able to get on at these Betfair SP prices is debatable. You'd be able to get a few quid on, probably 10, 20 quid, whatever. That wouldn't be an issue for maybe, a few people. But if you had 100 people looking at this, then that's where you've got to consider that this edge here that we're seeing at the minute would evaporate very very quickly, right? It would be nowhere near this, and that's where it would start getting a little bit more challenging. So for the live trial purposes, it's not an issue. But if loads of people were looking at this going forward, then that's where it becomes a problem, because the value that we're seeing at the minute is going to be quickly eradicated. However, there are further, obviously, filtering opportunities when we're looking at the star rating. We had another two winners from 5 yesterday, and there was a couple that were close, weren't there? There was two out of the other three that were fairly close as well. I think they come second, but nonetheless, this is looking really really healthy. Even at Industry SP for 5 stars, we're up at 13.5 points. And then nearly 24 at Betfair SP. Again, without the commission, but it's not going to make too much of a dent in that. So yeah, there's always a filtering it down, and getting your money on these is not necessarily going to be a problem. It's not going to dramatically affect the value per se, because they're not massive prices, are they? But yeah, look, that's where my thought process is at the minute. So. Um, yeah, I'm starting to sit up in my chair a little bit. I won't lie, and take note. So it all depends on sample size, as I say, and let's give it another few weeks or a month, or see where we are, see when that's sort of doubled or trebled, and let's see if we can continue to grow. And I'm not suggesting the same way that we have been, because this is quite a heavy trajectory to the upward trend, right? So you, you would expect, even if it keeps building, for it to be a little bit slower. But I'm just waiting for the inevitable bad day, and it hasn't come yet. So that's not to say that it won't come, but even the bad days they're not bad so far. They either break even, or a 10 point, 9 point loss or something like that. It's not huge when you're looking at what we're doing here. So yeah, just a little one, just a little video, just to sort of publicly air my thoughts at the minute. I'll keep doing the results updates on a Sunday, and yeah, who knows? Do this Sunday, and all of that profit there could have gone down the plug hole. But yeah, that's where my head is at the minute. I've got a couple of picks to put out, should I say, later. I'll probably do that this afternoon when Bet365 price their market up. I'll do that then. But yeah, one of them, I don't know. I'll explain on that video anyway. But it could be a little a little bit of a hidden gem, I think. Looking at the race cards and that lot, it doesn't seem to be fancied all that much. But yeah, I'll explain a little bit later. I think if its last run's anything to go by, it's an absolute shoe in here. But yeah, I'll put that out this afternoon. They're both at Toaster tonight. They're two picks that I'm going for. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.